Hi, my name is Oskar Shell. I'm 9 years old. Oh, here's my card. Oskar Shell, inventor, vegan, pacifist, collector of rare coins, Beatles memorabilia, and other things. Home phone, private. Cell phone, private. Fax machine, I don't have a fax machine. Yet. I've only been in a limousine twice in my life ever. The first time was terrible. I asked Mom if we could go by school, and Mom said, no, school wasn't on the way and we couldn't be late to the cemetery. Why not? I asked, which I actually thought was a really good question, because if you think about it, why not? And anyway, it's not like we were actually burying him anyways. Sandy Dahl once said, if we learn nothing else from this tragedy, we learn that life is short and there's no time to hate. Sandy Dahl was wife to Captain Jason Dahl, who piloted United Flight 93, which crashed into a field in Pennsylvania on September 11, 2001. Mrs. Dahl was able to take a powerful lesson from the tragic loss of her husband, yet not all people who lost loved ones on this historic day were able to move forward in the same way. One such character is precocious and autistic 9-year-old Oskar Shell, our narrator in Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close by Jonathan Safran Foer. Even a year after, I still have an extremely difficult time doing certain things, like taking showers for some reason and getting into elevators, obviously. There was just a lot of stuff that made me panicky, like suspension bridges, germs, airplanes, fireworks, bags without owners, smoke, knobs, tall buildings. A lot of the time, I get the feeling like I was in the middle of a huge black ocean or a deep abyss, but not in the fascinating way. It's just that everything was incredibly far away from me. It was worse at night. I started inventing things and I just couldn't stop. That night in bed, I invented a special drain that would be underneath every pillow in New York City and would connect to the reservoir. Whenever anyone cried themselves to sleep, the tears would all go to the same place, and in the morning the weatherman could report whether the water level of the reservoir of tears had gone up or down. And if something extremely bad were to happen, like a nuclear bomb, or at least a biological weapons attack or something, an extremely loud siren would go off telling everyone to go to Central Park and put sandbags around the reservoir. Sometimes, I think it would be weird if a skyscraper moved up and down while its elevator stayed in place. So if you wanted to go to the 95th floor, you just press the 95 button and the 95th floor would come to you. This could also be extremely useful because if you're on the 95th floor and say a plane hits below you, the building could take you to the ground and everyone would be safe, even if you left your birdseed shirt at home that day. Dad always used to tuck me in at night and he'd tell the greatest stories, and we'd read the New York Times together, and sometimes he'd whistle I Am the Walrus because it was his favorite song, even though he couldn't explain what it meant, which frustrated me. When Dad was tucking me in that night, the night before the worst day, he kissed my forehead and said goodnight. Then he was at the door. Dad? Yeah, buddy? Nothing. The next time I heard his voice is when I came home from school the next day. We were let out early because of what had happened. I know it was 10:22 when I got home because I checked my watch a lot. Message 1, 8:52 a.m. It's Dad, Thomas Shell. Hello, are you there? I just tried the office, but no one is picking up. Listen, something's happened. I'm okay. They're telling us to stay where we are and wait for the firemen. I'm sure everything will be fine. I just wanted to call to let you know that I'm safe and not to worry. I'll call again soon. I knew I could never let Mom hear the messages because protecting her is one of my most important raison d'etre. So what I did was took Dad's emergency money from the dresser and I ran down to the Radio Shack on Amsterdam. It was there I saw the first building had fallen. I bought the same exact phone, ran home, and recorded the original message onto it. I took the old phone, wrapped that up in a scarf Grandma was never able to finish because of my privacy. I put that in a bag, I put that in another bag, I put that in a box, and I shoved that in my closet under a bunch of junk, like my jewelry workbench or albums of foreign currency. That night, I took the phone out of all of its protections. even though the volume was way down, so Dad's voice wouldn't wake Mom up. He still filled the room, like how a light fills a room, even when it's dim. Message 2, 9:12 a.m. It's me again. Are you there? Hello? Pick up. I just tried the office. No one's picking up. Listen, I don't know if you've heard what's happened, but I'm okay. Everything is fine. I'll call again soon. Hopefully the fireman will be up here by then. Message 2, 9:31 a.m. Hello? 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 I wrapped the phone back up in the unfinished scarf, and I put that back in the bag, and I put that back in the other bag, and back in the box, and under all the junk in the closet. A lot of the times, I think about those 4.5 minutes between when I came home and when Dad called. Stan touched my face, which he never did. I took the elevator for the last time. I opened the apartment door, put down my bag, took off my shoes like everything was wonderful. But what I didn't know, in reality, everything was actually horrible. How could I? I petted Buckminster to show him that I loved him, and then I went to the phone and listened to the messages, one after another. Message 4, 9:46 a.m. It's Dad, Tom Michelle, hello, can you hear me? Pick up, please, please, pick up. People are getting crazy. There's a helicopter circling around. I think we're going up to the roof for some sort of evacuation. Pick up, please, are you there? Hello, pick up. Why didn't he say goodbye? Why didn't he say, I love you? But this is the thing I've never told anyone. After I listened to the messages, the phone rang. It was 10:26. I went to check the caller ID and I saw it was his cell phone. I couldn't pick up the phone. I just couldn't do it. It rang and I couldn't move. I wanted to pick it up, but I just couldn't. Then the answering machine went off and I heard my own voice. Hi, you've reached the Shell residence. Please leave a message. Are you there? Are you there? Are you there? Are you there? He needed me, and I just couldn't pick up the phone. I just couldn't do it. Are you there? He asked 11 times. I know because it's more than I can count on my fingers. Why did he keep asking? Was he waiting for someone to come home? And why didn't he say anyone? Is anyone there? You is just one person. Sometimes I think he knew I was there. Maybe he kept asking to give me time to be brave enough to pick up. Also, there was so much space between the times he asked. There are 15 seconds between the third and the fourth, which is the longest space, and you can hear people in the background screaming and crying, and you can hear glass breaking, which makes me wonder if people were jumping. Are you there? Are you there? Are you there? Are you? I've timed the message, and it's 1 minute and 37 seconds, which means it ended at 10:28, which is when the second building came down. So maybe that's how he died. I found the pictures of the falling body. Was it Dad? Maybe. Whoever it was somebody. I ripped out the pages and reversed the order so the first was last and the last was first. When I flipped through them, it looked like a man was floating up through the sky. If I had more pictures, he'd have flown back into the building. The smoke would have poured out of the hole the plane was about to fly through. Dad would have left his messages backwards until the answering machine was empty. The plane would have flown backwards all the way to Boston. He would have walked backwards to the subway. The subway would have gone backwards to our stop. He would have walked backwards into my room, whistling I Am the Walrus backward. He would have gotten into bed with me. We would have looked at the stars. The light would have pulled back from our eyes. I'd have said nothing backward. He'd have said, yeah, buddy, backward. I'd have said dad backward, which would have sounded the same as dad forward. We would have been safe.